How you doing, pioneers? This is mjkk613.14. Coming at you again. Pi through my eyes, the way I see it, in my opinion, my view. I haven't done a video in a while. Kind of been running around upstairs. Got called on some bad information I was putting out, or incorrect information. Incorrect information I was putting out. And if you know me for a while or seen any of my stuff early on, you know I kind of took pride in putting out correct information, or the way I believed was correct. Well, I got called, I don't know, a week or so, a couple of weeks ago, or whatever it is, and I had some other stuff going on. Just it threw me for a little bit, so I was kind of regrouping, rethinking things, looking at my opinion. I mean, how I see Pi, because Core hasn't really put out anything, and so we're going on speculation, opinion, whatever. And I was going on mine, and I've been going on mine. And what I got called on, and they were correct. So, and I do want to say thank you for the guys that were calling me on it, because it's the way it is. And I've always said I will own up to when I've made mistakes, and I'm owning up to when I'm making a mistake. But I had to kind of resort it out in my head. The information I was called on was Pi investors. And my position has always been, at this point, Pi is not looking for outside investment, isn't looking for big investment, not yet. Now, down the road, that might be a different issue, but at this point in time. And I was going off of what I learned early on when I joined Pi, that Core was funding the project on their own until the ads were brought up as a way to fund Pi to completion. And being a part of the community at that time, having a say in the use of ads to help fund Pi and pay for Pi and all that, just kind of cemented my opinion that Core was not looking for outside investment, did not want outside investment. Well, I've been going round and round for a long time over the same issue. And if you follow, there's not much said about the investors and everything else going on. What I found out through having it pointed out to me, that yes, Core does have initial investors that are family and friends of Core team. They invested early on in Pi. Family and friends of Core team. Plus, from what I understand, a couple of outside seed investors. And they're on now I'm not sure about the acronym, I'd have to look it back up. I think it's either SAE or SEA agreement, which is I just lost it's a price option on when they can redeem their investment. Or I don't know all the technical stuff about it. I read it, I understand what it is, but I don't know all the technical ins and outs. But they have, when Pi does launch and go live, and I believe lists on the exchange, and has a price, the initial investors have an option to, whatever it is, whether they get stock or Pi or whatever, there's a price redemption in there that's their option. So, and I learned about it a long time ago, but I didn't pay attention. I overlooked it, or didn't, because I didn't see any outside investment, is what I'm getting at. So, through the course of this, or just before the ads came into play, Nicholas opted to introduce more shares or more options or of what they already, extending what they already had going. And from my understanding, there was no outside investment or outside investors that he opened up that area to. So I don't know whether he opened it up to the initial investors that they had the option to put in more or whatever to get this. And I was under a different impression when all this came up, because where it all came to light is through a court case that Nicholas and Vince are involved in. I'm not sure whether it's resolved or if they've come to any resolution. And it's none of my business, none of Pi's business. That's personal between core team, and it's not affecting Pi one way. Well, it did affect Pi, in my opinion. By losing Vince, we lost part of Pi. Sorry, that's just my opinion. But this is not the first project where core team has had, whether it's differencing of opinion, whatever it is, they separated. Pi has not stopped moving forward because of what's going on behind the scenes. But from what I understand, or the way I understood it, was when Nicholas opted to introduce more shares, I guess to bring in more liquidity, more funding to keep Pi going. I thought it was just the three of them, from what I understood, and I overlooked or didn't really pay attention to what was going on. So when Nicholas introduced these shares, my thinking, whatever happened is part of what happened between them or whatever. I don't know, because I don't believe Vince invested or was looking to invest any more. That he may not have had any more to invest. I don't know that. I don't know it, and it's not okay. But through that, I didn't really pick up or didn't pay attention because the funding. See, I think, to me, I believe there's two sides to it. There's a company side that will always be controlled by Core. Core will always have a say in that. That will not change. I believe. I believe that's the business end. I really believe that's the business end of Pi. On the currency side of Pi, the community side of Pi, is ours. Is how I've always looked at it, always believed, always, just from what I see. Okay, is how I form my opinion, and I was always putting out. Pi's not looking for outside investors. It doesn't need outside investors. It's not okay. Well, going through all of this and eating a little crow and backing up a little bit and having to take a look at it, and that's where I think the people that kept me honest man, I love it when people keep me honest, and I love it when they have the information to support their side. And I was also getting to a point, my frustration level was getting high again, and I was getting short, and I was getting adamant, and I was probably getting out of line. I really was. If you look back through the last few videos, you could probably see it. Because I'm passionate about Pi. And what I believe Core's goal is for Pi, it's a game changer, folks. It's a game changer. And being able to see it and hearing it just, so it was probably a good smack in the face. Get me back, and it's taken me some time to connect the dots again and make sense of it. Okay, and my opinion still holds true, holds the same to right now. Okay, because I don't believe when Nicholas introduced more shares, he didn't open it up to outside investment. Like the Teslas and Gates and big, J.P. Morgan and all the big players. Even little investors. Okay, he didn't open it up to outside. He kept it all in-house. By keeping it all in-house, leads me back to the same position that because of Pi's goal, not looking for at this point. All I'm saying is this point. Once it hits the market, it is what it is. Now, it brings up another issue that I don't have the answer to and won't know the answer to until we get there. Is because, and why I say right now Pi is not looking for outside investment is because as soon as you bring in outside investors investing big money, they want return on their money. Bottom line, they want profit. They invested. They have a target that they're looking when these investors invest in something, they have a target they're looking for by doing that investment. Musk did it with Bitcoin. There was all that news about him dumping $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. And then, whatever it was, month, 2 months, 3 months later, 4 months later, he dumped it all and got out because he made his margin. That's how they all make money. That is also how the game is played. That's what we're into right now, as far as all of the outside stuff, all the outside currencies and all this stuff that's going on. That's how the game is played. Unfortunately, unless you have big money or, you get in at the right time or you get on the right thing or you do it, whatever, I'm not gonna cross that line. There's no way. I don't have the funds to get involved, and when I first got into Pi, I looked at it the same way as everybody else did. Bitcoin Pi is an asset investment to build my wealth, not in Pi, not build my wealth in Pi, build my wealth in today's currency, but using Pi to get there. That's what trading is. And the more I'm coming to understand what's going on or see what's going on or whatever. I've watched a lot of the pros, man. A lot of the guys that are making the decisions for us, a lot of the speculators, a lot of traders, and not just the crypto space. The crypto space is what it is, and it's coming into its own. It's bigger than what I was giving it credit for. It really is. And kudos, which is also going to make Pi's entrance into the space a lot easier and adoption a lot quicker, and it's going to blow people away. It's going to blow the space away. It is. If we get Pi to the point of where it should be when we release, it's going to blow people away. It's going to blow people away. Because, and this is where my opinion comes, because if Core lets outside investors in, Pi will be nothing other than what is already out there. Because everything is trading from an asset, or everything is pretty much an asset. It's either a commodity or an asset trading to turn that asset into something else. The dollar bill, the currency of whatever country you're in is what it's doing. Okay, and what is, in my opinion, what has happened, and I just watched another dude, and I'll try to get his link in here somehow, that kind of cemented that I think, I'm no pro or whatever, but this guy, he just is reporting the facts on the space of what's going on in the space. He's not, I don't think he's leaning one way or the other, or he's for this coin or that coin or this investment or that investment or whatever. He's just reporting the facts of what's going on in the space. And I just watched one of his videos tonight, and he was talking about a report that Bank of America put out on digital currency or cryptocurrency, or adopting a digital currency into the current models that are in place today. And what I got out of it, what I got out of this guy's video was everything that's on the market today. And Ripple, yeah, don't count Ripple out. Ripple put themselves in a nice position. They are in a nice position for the world that's coming. Yeah, they partnered up with Bank of America now. Yeah, everybody's saying they sold out, whatever. That's a whole different issue. They're consulting, advising Bank of America on digital currency. Yeah, cryptocurrency. Yes, they're advisors to Bank of America, consultants to Bank of America. Yeah. Core made the right choice of the protocol that they decided to write Pi on. Yes. So but it's all around investment, industrial investment, whatever. It's all around investing, working the bubbles, creating the bubbles, manipulating the bubbles. Bitcoin is nothing. Bitcoin has become part of what the system is today. If Bitcoin isn't volatile, you're not making money. If stocks aren't going up and down, if cryptocurrencies aren't going up and down, if things aren't moving, they're not making money. They're not making money. They're using crypto as another instrument or another asset or another tool to make them wealthier. Anyway, that's just what I got out of it. Because the report from Bank of America is leading towards altcoins. They're leading towards stable coins. And why they're leading towards stable coins is because stable coins are backed by something else. So, I know I'm getting off of where I was and whatever, but I just want to say thank you and sorry for being me. But going through all of this and sorting it all back out and seeing what's going on and seeing what's going on today, yes, all it did was cement my position of Pi is not looking for outside investors right now. Because Pi is not looking to be a tradable commodity or a tradable asset. Pi is looking to be the money. Pi is not looking to tie or connect or be connected to, and it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need industrial investors. It doesn't need the outside investors. Because the first sentence out of this guy's mouth, or one of the first sentences out when he started getting into his spiel, was governance. Governance. Because that is the weakest area, I don't care what coin it is, in the crypto space and in the cryptocurrencies of right now. Governance is the issue with most of it. That is the weakest point of all of these coins that are out there, is governance. Man. And what's happening, governance. And nobody's talking about Pi governance. That's where Pi makes its own. That's where Pi becomes its own. Community governance should have been talked about, or should have been being talked about at 5 million pioneers. When the Pi convention came around, community governance should have been one of the top priorities in that conference, in that convention. And it should still be one of the leading. It should be a top priority. Core's not going to bring it up. No. They don't. If we're not going to bring it up, they're not going to bring it up. Yes, it's conditional on whatever it is to start with. But see, Core has written Pi for us. Core has written Pi for us. Believe it or not. Ripley's. Believe it or not. You know, everybody's so wrapped, I mean, not everybody, but most people are so wrapped up in what's going on as far as trading this. Everybody's in the bubbles, man. Real estate, whatever bubble it is. You know, hedge funds are hedging in case the dollar does whatever. An asset an asset not tied to the dollar in case the dollar goes to shit. There's something that they can use to do business with. We don't bank at those kind of banks. I was talking to, I went to the bank today. I was talking to the teller at the bank today, and he made, I don't know, we were talking, and he made some comment. Oh, I was getting big bills, and made a comment to him about I've never seen a $500 bill. He goes, I've never seen a $500 bill either. I don't think there is any. Oh yeah, there's. I mean, you can go online and you can find. Yeah, us little folks, we don't get to see those big bills. We don't play at those kind of banks, and that was where the comment came in. People using that kind of money or moving that kind of money aren't playing in the banks that we play in, that we deal with. They're dealing with the big ones upstairs that are controlling the stuff. Yeah, that's where those boys play. That's where Bitcoin will probably end up playing. Because that's the way Bitcoin is designed. That's the way, that is what Bitcoin has turned into. Bitcoin is not a little man's coin. And chasing Satoshi and all that kind of stuff, yeah. It's all part of the game that's being played now. It's all part of the game that's being played now. So, yeah, it just kind of registered. Yeah, we're not, as things sit today, right now, we don't play in those kind of banks. And people are trying to turn Pi into playing in one of those kinds. And no, Pi, that's not what Pi is about. Sure, it's not. And I think that's where I was getting frustrated and but I also realized that that's not the way it needed to be. Even though, because I was under the, I put myself in that position. I did. Because I got to a point of it's time to wake people up. Time to tell people the way it is. Time to tell people that, dude, wake up. Wake up. And I put myself mentally in a position I didn't care anymore. I didn't care whether I was politically correct. I didn't care who I came up against. I didn't care. So hopefully, in what I've learned from the people that I was debating with and arguing, I hope they learned a little something from me as well. Because I don't believe I'm off the mark. Maybe some of what I'm using to support my argument might be a little off in this area. And it was off. But even though it was off, it wasn't off the mark is where I'm at. But I had to get humble again. I had to get humble again. Because it didn't work that way. Okay? And yes, I was getting more short. It was getting shorter in temper. Okay, but I've been watching I've been waking up the whole time I've been in Pi. Pi has really opened my eyes to a lot of injustice, a lot of bad stuff going on in the world. And we are in a season of change. And I think that's where it's at. I know we're in a season of change. We are. We are going from, I don't know if it's going to get as bad as it did at the turn of the century, between BCE and AD and all that, because those folks were fighting over religion. That's serious. That's some serious. And went from Taurus of Bull to Pisces, Fisher of Men. We're going from Fisher of Men to the awakening or the enlightenment. That's what Aquarius is. Time of enlightenment. Yeah. When they were talking about the fifth dimension, now I understand what they were talking about. Yeah. We look at the world in 3 dimensions. That's the most we can see is 3 dimensions. We're going from 3 dimensions to 4 or 5. The time of enlightenment. It's going to be a different world, folks. And you can, maybe it's just me, and I am Maybe they time to lock me up in the loony bin or something. I don't know. But I don't think so. And what really opened my eyes was probably over the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, man, I'm on a learning deal that is crazy. Because over the last at least 3 or 4 months, the dollar, well, and listening to some other stuff that I've been listening to over the last few days, the dollar, the U.S. dollar, has lost a third of its buying power in the last 3 to 4 months. Mm-hmm. And what started to hit me was going to the grocery store. Before I could go to the grocery store, I could come out with a couple of bags of groceries and they cost X amount of money. Now I went from $50 to $75 to $80 to get out of the grocery store, buying the same stuff. Looking at the prices, everything has gone up $1 to $2. I looked at gas today and gas is at $4.29. And there is no shortage of oil. It's just they're not producing. This is all part of whether you want to call it the reset, reconnection, whatever. Okay. I'm not going to downplay COVID, but I don't believe COVID is what they're selling us. No. Because the only way, from what I understand and what outcome, the only way you can make a financial change on the scale that they need to make that change is to have a disaster, have a catastrophe, have something major to focus the population on to make the change. Well, Corona is a world epidemic, world pandemic, COVID has got the whole world. Any news flash you turn on from any country, anywhere in the world, everybody is wearing masks, doing this, doing that, okay. It's on a world scale. It's a world economy it's a world economics that needs to correct itself. Because the United States government is running the biggest Ponzi scheme ever devised. Ponzi was peanuts next to these guys, man. And if you know what a Ponzi scheme is, you know what I'm talking about. Because the government keeps feeding more dollars into it to cover last year's debt. Because the current economic model is built on debt. They have to be able to bring new currency into the economy. They have to create debt. We have to absorb the debt to get those new bills in place. And when those new bills come in place, it devalues the dollar. Well, the dollar has been so overinflated for X amount of years that, okay, that's part of, okay. But a Ponzi scheme, you have to keep bringing in more investors to cover the investors from above. The government needs to print more dollar bills than what the debt is. Well, when they do that, it covers right now, but it devalues the dollar, and it's been going on since World War II. I mean, look at the Great Depression. I mean, that was 39. Well, it went to 39 and it was after that. No, because it went 29 to 45 or something. It went till after Second World War. And after the Second World War and all that, but that's when it started. And when it really hit loose is in 71 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So up until, it was still, there was a check and a balance with the dollar being on the gold standard. But as soon as the dollar came off the gold standard, that's actually when the Ponzi scheme really started. Because there was no check. There was no balance. The government was free to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. And just look back. Do some reading and look back. As soon as the dollar came off the gold standard, they started printing. As soon as they started printing, they had to print more. They had to print more this year to cover last year. And when they printed more to cover this year than last year, the debt that was incurred we had to pick up interest rates. Interest rates. That's how these jokers make their money. It's off of us borrowing and paying interest. Yeah. And we bought into it. We bought into it. Hook, line, and sinker. Because now in the 60s, I can remember gas being 25 cents, 50 cents, a pack of cigarettes, 50 cents, bread, Then when I started my working career, I was making $2.36 an hour, working in a bowling alley. And I could get by. I had enough to get cigarettes, gas, something to eat, and take somebody out on the weekend. And still had a couple of pennies in my pocket. That wasn't that far long ago, folks. That wasn't that long ago. And what really sent it home is, like I say, the last few months going to the grocery store. And I'm living on a fixed income. And that just started here at the beginning of the year, end of last year, beginning of this year. I'm on a fixed income. And at the beginning of the year, I could make it on what my income is. I could make it. It was short, but I could make it. And I think that's probably what tweaked me too. I was going on a monthly check. I was going month to month. No, it's not the handout from the government either. But I could make it till the next check came in. The last 2 months, I've been a week and a half short on making, and my spending habits haven't changed. What I buy hasn't changed. But I've lost $300. I've lost a third. I've lost a third of my income in the last 3 or 4 months. Because there's other reasons for it, but they have to print more to make up for last year. And, we could shut this whole thing down. All we had to do is stop borrowing money. Just stop taking out loans. Yeah. Just stop taking out loans. Go back to a cash system, which would close it. They'd have nowhere to go. If you want to hurt them, that's how you hurt them. That's how you take it back. That's what Pi is about. Okay. But at the same time, because the dollar is the reserve currency, they also have to print more to make sure there's enough reserve. And you get into the big banks and all this and how they do their bookkeeping and all this other stuff. They never move money. They never move anything. They don't move the gold. They don't move the dollars. It's all done digitally, and it's all done on the books. When they clear their books for the day, all these other banks need to balance. And if they don't balance, if this bank is short, then they borrow from this bank and whatever, and they all start even the next day. That's how the system's designed. But that's up at that level. But when we borrow, it's everything around our economy revolves around interest. Interest. The interest paid on the money. I don't care at what level you're at. Whether it's us borrowing to buy a house, to buy a car, when we put it on credit and we pay an interest rate, that's all they're looking for. And it happens between little bank and big bank and all that, and big bank between big bank. Because if this one is short on his balance sheet and this one is over, this bank borrows from this bank and pays it back at interest. So they're paying interest on what they're doing up there. It's all about the interest. It's the way the system is set up on debt. Okay? So, with the dollar being the reserve currency, when all these other nations and countries want the dollar inflated, because the more the dollar inflates, the less theirs inflates, ours inflates and theirs deflates. They're taking our standard of living away from us. Believe it or not. Because as ours inflates, we don't have the same buying power. Theirs deflates, they have more buying power. Well, it finally, I just was watching this the other day, it started to click, it makes sense. We finally, it's taken almost a year of them keep deflating the dollar to finally get China to a point to be in trouble. Yeah. China is finally to a point that it's in trouble. And all of their bubbles are collapsing over there. Because they were working on the dollar being inflated and theirs being deflated, and they had the buying power, which made their interest payments more. When it deflates, the interest goes up. When the interest goes up, they make more money. When the interest goes down, they're not getting their return on the money they're borrowing. China's finally got in trouble. Yeah. Well, those are a couple of things, man. Before I didn't care. It was all, as long as I had enough to get my beer, my smokes, my drugs, whatever it was, and leave my ass alone and let me do my own thing, I didn't care. Didn't pay attention to any of it. Didn't care. Well, I do now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether I care, but I understand it, and I see what. Okay. This reset needs to bring these up, needs to bring this down, so we're back in the level playing field. So they're back in the level playing field. It doesn't matter on us. We got to pay for it one way or another. So if the dollar keeps deflating, the money that they're printing and doing, we have to pick up, because we are the majority. We are the majority. We are what drives the economy. If it wasn't for us, none of this shit would be going on. If we weren't buying into what they're telling us, none of this crap would be going on. Zero. We've given them the power. We've given them the whatever. Through whatever means that they're using. Whatever. Okay? And I think that was part of my frustration too, because I can see it. I understand. It's making sense. And where I was getting frustrated the most was people aren't looking at the system and looking at what's going on. They're looking to play the bubble to get the cash to be up there where they think they want to be. Yeah. Why? Okay. My question. Why are we chasing the money? Why are we chasing any of the money? Why? I'd like somebody to give me an answer that I can understand. Why? Okay. Because money makes the world go round. You're right. Money makes the world go round. I won't argue that at all. We need money to make. We need money to get by day to day. Do we? Really? Do we? Not really. Not really. Because I've also been watching some of these preppers. Some of it I buy, some of it I don't. But some of it makes a lot of sense. And if we keep going the way we're going, this is just my opinion and what I'm seeing and all the information I'm putting in here and putting it in a tumbler and doing whatever, and it's coming out on the other end. Everybody has a bit of truth to it. Both sides of the story has a bit of truth to it. Both sides of the story has a bit of truth. And the truth lies somewhere in between. It's just being able to find that in between. If we keep going the way we're going, which some government somewhere somehow isn't going to, they can't let it happen, because if they let it happen, if they let the dollar go to nothing. I mean, any other country can go bankrupt. The United States can't. They can't let it go bankrupt. I don't care. They can't, because if the U.S. goes bankrupt and whatever, the whole world will collapse. Even Bitcoin will collapse, because it's all tied to it. That's a different. I may get into it in another video. They won't let it, but I don't know how far it's going to go. I mean, how far is it going to go before either we stand up and say, "Hey, we've had enough," and we change what's going on, or we just keep letting it go and go back in. We're getting closer to 1984 than most people realize. Anyway, that's also different in my opinion. If the dollar were, let's just say the dollar were to crash, the dollar crashes. The dollar is a reserve currency for everything else, which means, where does everything else get its value from? China is the second largest economy. I think it's the second largest economy, or second. What they're up. It's us and China. I mean, those are the players, and we're on. Anyway, they're the players. Well, right now the shape that China's in, because of ours coming down, they're just going up, and it's pushing them out of where they are. Those two are going to go, even though China was in line for the next reserve currency and all. China's going to go with the United States, which is going to take down Canada, the UK, and all the other first world countries are going to crash. Most likely, second world countries are going to feel it too. Well, if the money that we have in our pocket, the money that we're earning from, we go to jobs and earn the money, if it's no good, now it takes me back to Pablo Escobar, man. With all of the money that he had, all of the currency that he had in his on pallets stacked up and when he was using $100 bills, stacks of $100 bills to keep his daughter warm, means the money didn't mean anything to him. Because if the money meant anything to him, he'd be finding some other fuel to keep his daughter warm instead of stacks of bills that he had. Money meant nothing to him. Okay? Well, if money means what are we going to use? What are we going to use? Well, we'll go back to gold. We'll go back to how many people own gold? How many people have gold? Gold is for the big boys, man. That's how they do business with gold. Well, we got Bitcoin. We got all these cryptocurrencies. Where are they getting their value from? Where does Bitcoin actually get its value from? Please, because I want to know. And then I thought I had it sorted out and figured out. Okay, it comes from blockchain. Yeah. There's no more fake currency. There's no more fake currency. How is it going to stand up against gold? How? If the dollar goes, I probably, let's get into this in the next one, because I'm going over. But I do want to say, I will eat my words. I am a man of my word. I was wrong. I overlooked, and I apologize for putting it, because I've done you all a disservice. Now, yes, I did, because I was putting out incorrect information. But on this note, the way I was supporting my position, the information was incorrect. Coming out with an understanding how I understand the information today, unless somebody can show me that I missed, and there are other outside investors from that point. I'm open. I'm all ears. I'm willing to listen. I'm humble, and I'm taking it in right now. Yes, and it takes a lot. I'm not gonna say it doesn't hurt having to go back and swallow my words and admit I was wrong. I hate admitting I'm wrong. I'm also a control freak. I hate admitting I'm wrong. But when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. But on the flip side, my position hasn't changed. It's only strengthened of what it is, even with the investors that Core has at this point, because he didn't open it up. If he'd opened it up, my position would be different. I would say, if he opened it up, if Pi opened up to when he issued more stock or whatever he issued, if he would have opened it up to outside investment, big bank investment, whatever, if he'd opened it up to any other outside investors, my position would have changed. Guaranteed. Without a doubt, my position would have changed. Because as soon, like I say, as soon as outside investors come in, Pi's not Pi anymore. Pi's just another shitcoin on the market. Will be another shitcoin on the market. Yeah. One more before I go on this one. And what has really cemented my position? When I watched this guy tonight, when I watched the information he was putting out tonight, yeah, cemented my position, my opinion, my views in Pi. Yeah. Because everything he was talking about, I believe was spot on. Everything he was talking about Bitcoin, everything he was talking about altcoins, everything he was talking about stable coins, everything he was talking about this and that, and and the few gems that he threw in, like Ripple consulting for the Bank of America and all that, and what he was saying about the big bank investors, the investors that everybody's saying that we need in Pi, when he was talking about all of this and putting it together, and cemented my opinion on what Pi goal is. And it's not what you think. It's not. No. Core is designed and built and building, and we should have been a part of it a long time ago, but anyway, and that was also where I was getting frustrated. Because people, hopefully, seeing things in a different light and listening to what people are saying and watching what people are saying, yes, there's still a lot of stuff going on. But we may be, I don't know, it's not like it was a few weeks ago. Okay? Yes, there are still things, but it's not hearing the same stuff, I'm not seeing the same stuff, I'm not, okay. And I've been quiet, whatever, because at the time, and it's been going on since the beginning, people are trying to push Pi in the direction that everything else is at and going right now. And I don't believe that's ever been Pi's mission, Pi's goal, Pi's cores, none of it. And the ones that have woken up and see it, have seen it, yeah, because we had an enlightenment in Pi too. From that time when we woke up and see it, and people were working to do what Pi needed, not what we think Pi needed. It's not about what we think Pi needs. It's about what Pi needs. That's what Pi's about. Because what we think Pi needs is to fit into the model. And Pi's not about fitting. Okay? Pi is looking to, in my opinion, with what Pi is, what core is built, what we have built, even though we may not have contributed the way I think we should have, but what we have built, what we are building. Maybe I should say what we are building now. What has been built, what we're building, what people are waking up and seeing. Okay. Pi's not looking to play in that game. Yes, and I'm not saying that there won't be some overlap and there won't cross, and I'm not saying that, okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Pi's not looking to play in that game. It's not looking to live in that game. It's not looking, because Pi is looking to run parallel with what's going on. Parallel with what's going on. Not in it, parallel. With what Pi has going for it, like I say, it's going to blow people away. One of the other things that this guy was talking was use case, utility, and size of these coins. Of all these other coins are out there, the size of these coins. The amount of people in these coins using these coins is a drop in the bucket. Even though, as a collective, yes, they have a single-digit percentage in the overall global economy. Even with Bitcoin, they only have a single-digit percentage in the overall world economy. Just a single digit. Okay? again, they're starting to talk about trillions of market cap and all this other stuff in there. Okay, is still a single-digit percentage in the world economy, which isn't much, folks. Which isn't much. I mean, you take 5% of 7.5 billion people. Not much. Not much. Anyway, if you look at Pi and what Pi's got going on right now, and you can't see it, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I mean, I know I'm barking up a dead tree and kicking a dead horse and preaching. I'm not even preaching. Yeah, I'm just preaching. It's time to wake up, man. How many other? I'm gonna leave on a couple questions. How many other currencies? Brand new cryptocurrency. Brand new out of the box. Yes. Not totally brand new. It's using something. Okay. But it's brand new. The majority of Pi is brand new. With the additions, with what's going on, okay, how many of these currencies have publicly launched at the size of Pi? Even on their initial coin offerings. How many communities, how many coins have launched at the amount of people that Pi has? On top of that, how many of these cryptocurrencies have been distributed to 236 countries around the world? How many, even Bitcoin starting out, how many of these coins have been able to reach 236 countries around the world, no matter where they're at? 236 was the last official count that I know of. How many other coins have reached 236 countries around the world? No, I'm seriously asking somebody. How many other coins have done it? I don't care what coin it is. I'd like to, on top of that, so we were 25 million people a month ago, so we got to be close to 30 million people, I would say, if not more. Shit, I think if we hit 30 million, Core would announce that we hit 30 million. I don't think we've hit 30 million, but we have to be damn close. So we're at 30 million people. I'm going to say 30 million people with a reach to 236 countries around the world. Borderless now. Seamless and borderless. And we're on a test blockchain is running. Look it up on the Explorer. That means people are making transactions in 236 countries between each other. That means somebody in bum up Egypt is making somebody with Spodunk whatever over here. Never interacted before. And they're trading. Granted, it's test Pi. Okay, it's test Pi. The transaction is happening. And it may be, it's test Pi. People don't want. There are people that I made a bunch of transactions in the beginning, and I haven't made any since. Why? I mean, I know it's my job to help Pi develop, but there's enough pioneers out there doing it. They don't need a whole lot. I mean, they need a lot of transactions. We need a lot of transactions to prove Pi. But right now, we don't need to make a lot of transactions to sort out all the bugs. We just need to be making transactions on a big enough scale to sort out the bugs. They're doing it. It's happening. That's our job. That's part of our earning on the Pi that we're accumulating. That is part of our job. That's happening. So, 30 million people, 236 countries around the world, making transactions among us. And the kicker, how many of any of these other projects have been distributed to a scale like Pi? I don't care how many coins you have, whether you have a million coins or you have one coin. There's all those coins in between. Yes. You can't look at, I mean, I know people are looking at the distribution of coin and the people that were first here are whales and they're going to do this and they're going to do all that and they're going to do this and it trickles down to whatever. Okay. The majority of pioneers don't have as many coins as what you think they have. Because as pi grows, scarcity. Yes, pi does have scarcity. It is on a limited supply. Believe it or not. I don't care whether you believe it or not. Pi does have a cutoff. If it didn't have a cutoff, it wouldn't have scarcity and it wouldn't be worth what it's going to be worth. And listen to the models that you have. Okay, doesn't matter what that cutoff is. It just has. All you have to do is say it does have a stop to where you can't get any more. This is all that's going to be out there. They do it with the dollar bill every day, man. Every day they put new dollar bills into the market. It doesn't have a top, but it has value. Anyway, that's a whole different subject. Okay, so, but, there's not the amount of coins that most people think people have. Yeah, I would say on the average, I don't know what it is now, just taking a rough guess. On the average, it would be less than 2,500 coins. The average will be less than 2,500 coins. The majority of the community will have 1,000 or less, 500 or less, the majority. Think about the millions of people that are adding 1 and 2 coins at a time. They're not going to have a lot they don't have a lot of coins. Their stacks are small, man. So, on the average, I don't like the odds of the average of that, because the majority, just looking not from above, the majority, the average, will be 500 or less on the majority. Yes. Will be 500 or less. Okay. But, stretched around the world. Distributed to a scale the size of pi. Is there any other coin that has launched out there to this altcoin from Bitcoin to whatever the last crypto that came out on its own? You can even throw in what has been built off of whatever. How many have distributed their coin the way Pi is distributed? Pi is distributed around the world, folks. Any idea what that really means? Or have any idea what that really means? 30 million people, 236 countries around the world, and at least 500 Pi for everybody that's in Pi right now. And I know there are new people with one, but I'm saying the average, 500 to 30 million people around the world. I don't think there's ever been any coin that's done that. None. Pi is setting itself up to be a currency, folks. A parallel currency to what is already out there. What's gonna send Pi home? And we need to start talking about it, in my opinion, because it needs to be in place when Pi launches. This is my opinion. We need to have Pi governance set up. Because if Pi governance is set up before the public sees it, if you understand, I don't care, if you understand, just start talking about it. If you understand it and heard it, start talking about it. It will take off. Okay. Oh, I do want to say one thing that I've kind of let go. I want to say thank you for everybody for viewing what I've been putting out, and I hope the content that I'm putting out is making sense, getting home, hitting home, doing what it's going to do. And I also want to say thank you for everybody that's subscribing to my channel. I know it's not much, and I know it is what it is, and I am who I am. And, we'll see how it goes. But I do want to say thank you. And I'm I don't know, maybe I'm getting into this YouTube, maybe I get the YouTube bug or whatever, I don't know. Because I really don't, I'm not the type that cares about keeping up with whoever and making 15-minute, 10-minute videos because that's what the YouTube community wants. No, that's not me. Never been, never will. I am who I am. I put out who I put out, and I hope that what I'm putting out is reaching where it needs to reach, and people are getting something out of what I'm putting out. Okay? And if I'm wrong, tell me about it, because I want to know. Because if you don't tell me where I'm wrong, or prove where I'm wrong, then I just keep putting out bad shit. I don't want to put out bad shit. That's not what I'm about. Also, there's been a lot of stuff going on in Pi. KYC pilot rolled out about a week or so ago with 100 pilots, 100 pioneers from every country represented. So, if there's 236 countries represented, the KYC pilot is 23,600 people that have been invited or signed up or whatever for KYC to help work that process out. Core's in the middle of working that out, getting the bugs out, doing what they need to do to be able to roll it out on a mass, and for Pi app to handle a mass KYC. Relax. Don't. Just relax. Breathe. It'll happen. Every one of us, every single human pioneer that is played by the rules will not be lost or left behind. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of upset people when the rubber meets the road. There's gonna be a lot of upset pioneers. Trust me. I can already foresee it. Okay. Because if you didn't follow the rules, you didn't read anything, you didn't listen to anybody, and you went off on and doing your own thing. It's getting to a point that politically correct isn't going to happen. What else? Hands are tied, man. It isn't on Core. It isn't on the mods. It isn't on the people that know. It isn't because, man, everybody's been answering. So, yes, and I'm sure if you've now, this is going to be a real. This goes to the ones, single human being, a single person with one account, one mobile device, and you made an oops on your name. Now, I know Core is probably going to get somewhere along the line get cut off where this is what it is, because I don't know, for last 6, 8, 7, 9 months, whatever, new pioneers had 15 days to make any name corrections they needed. And if you didn't make the correct name, your name corrections in that 15 days, somewhere along the line, I believe there will be a cutoff. Okay? Just because you had 2 weeks to come into Pi, learn Pi, have your questions answered, do what you're going to do, and then correct your name. Okay? Now, if you made little errors or whatever it is, I'm almost sure. I would almost go out on a limb and say, somewhere along the line, we will get a chance to make those minor corrections. I don't think we'll get a chance to make, my name is Joe Smith, and then now my name is John Doe. I don't think we'll be able to make those kinds. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I don't think so. But if you put in first name, middle name, no last name, I think we'll have a chance to add the last name, or if you need to put in middle name and all that kind of stuff, or if you went by a nickname and your ID says something else, I believe we'll be able to make those minor changes. But if you're outside of what I just said, 111, see, you're not going to get through. I mean, you're going to have a tough time getting through, and if you do get through, you won't be here long. Because just think about it yourself and you'll figure it out. Okay. Also, there is a lot of stuff. Pi's getting exciting, folks. It's moving quick. The developers that are in the brainstorming and the dApps and whatever they got going on this side is happening. It is happening. Communities are growing. There are a bunch that are building dApps, getting dApps, building the use case, building the utility. It is there. Just relax. It will roll out. It will roll out. It's happening. They're building. Trust me. And I hate saying trust me. I haven't kept up on all of the communities and all of the dApps that have come out and what all's coming out and what, because man, but I do need to catch up and find out what is going on. Now there is a lot of stuff that has started, that is already out there, and yes, we can in test Pi we cannot trade Pi. There are 300 pioneers that do have the availability to actually transfer Pi. Don't ask me how that's going to sort out or how that's going to play out, because I don't know yet. I don't know, but I do know because I've been a part of a couple of them. I've been a part of them, and I have bought stuff with my Pi under certain conditions. I have been paid in Pi for services under certain conditions, and it's added up. Okay. So those are going on, but I do want to say anything right now that is out is unofficial. Most likely is unofficial because they haven't announced anything on the app yet. And if it doesn't come from the app or it doesn't come from this page, it is unofficial. So anything that is out now is unofficial. There are copycat. We just shut down another copycat scam coming off the app, coming out of the App Store today. I just found out about it today. I went in to write a bad review and report it and all that, and they had already taken it down. So there is a lot of stuff going on like that. And if you happen to see anything like that, let somebody know. Let somebody, a mod know, letting somebody know in that Pi app, reach out to somebody that can get the information related to where it needs to. Because there are a lot of copycats and there are a lot of scams and there are a lot of, if you see something that you think might be, research it before you get involved, because most likely it's not good. It's not good. There are a few that are set up, but research what you're getting into. Be careful. We can't do anything with Pi, even our test Pi. Even if you hook up with somebody in private on another page or whatever, and you make a deal for Pi right now, if you make a deal for Pi, I don't care whether it's for a good or service or whether it's for cash, we cannot do anything with test Pi right now. No. It's fraudulent. Test Pi is test Pi. That's all it is. It's used for testing. Like, if somebody sets up a DApp and say they have set up a DApp, and you're testing with this person, goods or service, don't expect any goods or service. And if they provide a good or service, they're losing, because when Pi goes live, all the test Pi is gone. Yeah, all the test Pi is gone. All of it is test. So we can't do anything with it. So don't even get involved in it. Okay. So research what you're getting into. Be sure that what you're getting into is on the up and up. Now you'll hear from a lot of people that this one isn't on the up and up. That's not. They are unofficial. It's not that they're not on the up and up. They're unofficial. Now I would be careful coming out of China, because I've heard some ungodly stuff happening in China, where they're buying houses and cars and all that. I have a hard time believing it, okay? Because Pi is not at that level yet. Now, buying good stuff, but small stuff, I don't know, maybe TVs, bikes, whatever, might be a possibility. There might be a car in there or two, legit. But I wouldn't be counting on cars and all that kind of stuff right now. I just would, because Pi's not there yet. Now, once Pi launches, it might be a different story. So, I mean, if you're starting to hear, if you're hearing Pi is up in 4 digits, if you're hearing Pi is up in 4 digits, trading in 4 digits, I would be skeptical. I really would, and I would research the hell out of it before I even thought about getting involved in it. Because there are going to be a lot of pioneers that are going to lose Pi and lose their Pi and lose that over stuff like that, over getting involved with stuff like that. Yes, there are. Be careful. I don't want to promote it, but I will. I mean, I'll put out that has links. But I do want to say, with all the dapps and stuff going on, I heard Wes Spenser has a new video out on the dapps and Pi growth and whatever. Spence puts out a lot of good information about Pi. And I like Spencer. You just have to filter what is and what isn't. Because he Anybody putting out videos is unofficial, unless it comes from the app or the official Pi YouTube. All of our videos are unofficial. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. We are all unofficial. You know, personally, I think there should be a disclaimer on that they are unofficial, because they make it sound official, and it makes life harder on people. But yeah, that's all that's it. But I hope, man, Wes, smart dude, been involved, and there's a couple other ones that are putting out. There are a lot that aren't. I wouldn't trust their information. Anyway, do your homework. Understand what you're getting into. Understand what they're saying. That's all I'm saying. Just be advised. Wake up. Understand that, because the biggest compliment somebody can get, or something you can get, is being copycatted. Doesn't mean that it's right, but it's the biggest compliment that you can get is being copycatted. And if they're already copycatting Pi, and they're trying to hack Pi, and they're trying to do it, it means Pi is getting the attention. It might be the wrong attention, but it's getting attention. And if it's getting attention, okay, yeah, Pi's going to shock a lot of people when it goes live. Trust me. I hate trust me, but this is one of those trust me. If we get Pi to where it should be, and it launches the way it should launch, it's going to change the game, folks. It will be. I'm not saying the next big Bitcoin, because nothing will ever be the next Bitcoin. Nothing will ever stand up and compete or whatever next. Bitcoin is what it is. Bitcoin is what it is. It deserves all the accolades and all of the whatever. It is what it is. Pi needs to be looked at by itself. Pi is not, Bitcoin is not Ethereum, it's not Stellar, it's not Ripple, it's not this, it's not that, it's not an altcoin, it's not, okay. Pi is Pi. That, if nothing else, that's the biggest message I'd like to get across. Just look at Pi for Pi. Pi's not looking to be the next Bitcoin. Pi's not looking, because when people say Pi's looking to be the next Bitcoin, they take it out of context, because they believe they know what Bitcoin is. And they're allowing them to do it. But when they compare Pi to Bitcoin or Ethereum, they're taking it out of context. It's out of context. You need to put Pi back in the right context and perspective. Pi is looking to be the next step in the evolution. Next step in the evolution of cryptocurrency. That's it. You know, went from. I believe in evolution. I just don't believe the way Darwin talked about it. I don't think we came from apes. I think we came from who we are. But we went from Cro-Magnon man to don't even get me on the order of Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon to this, to that, to whatever. Okay, well, set cryptocurrency up the same way. The same way. First gen, second gen, third gen, fourth gen, fifth gen, sixth gen, seventh gen, eighth gen, ninth gen. Who knows where it's going to end up? Who knows where it's going to end up? The beauty about blockchain, the beauty about Pi, the beauty about Bitcoin, the beauty about Pi, the beauty about it is it's limitless. The potential behind it is limitless. It's limitless if we get it there. Pi is looking to take the next step, because now, I went way over. Sorry about that, guys and gals. I get these links to this dude because he talked about all of this stuff. Bitcoin, it reminds me of when I went to work in the factory. When I first went to work in the factory, I was 21 or 22. The average age of employee at the place I went to the first solid job, really solid job I had. The only solid job I really had. I went to work and I was like 22. I think I started tail end 21. I went in on as temporary, and I got hired on permanent at 22. The average age of employee that was at the plant at that time was 18 years old. That means some guys have been there almost as long as I was old. coming in, and they brought in a bunch of us that, because these guys were all getting ready to retire out, they knew they needed to do something. So they brought in like 18 of us at one time. Yeah. You talk about some conflicts. These guys have been doing it for 20, 30 years. They knew their shit. We come in as puppies, thinking we know our shit. Yeah, we fucked up more shit than, going through that learning curve. But as we learned our jobs, and we started to get, because at the same time the company was wanting to bring itself up to stay competitive, to stay in business, they had to upgrade or get out. Well, when they started upgrading, welcome to the digital age. It wasn't quite there yet when I started, but it was close. I mean, it was coming up. So, again, and I just watched somebody, and I had to respond to it. They were putting down Microsoft because of the first couple of interface programs that were cheesy. Clem, I forget what they were, Bob and Clem, Bob, to teach people how to use the mouse, how to use the keyboard, okay. They were cracking up and making fun of it. I had to respond. If you weren't there, you don't know. And if you don't know, shut up. Okay? Because at the time, we still had dial-up phones on the wall with either a 25-foot cord or a 50-foot cord off the phone. You took the phone, or you had a 25-foot cable that connected the receiver to the base. Yeah, there was no wireless, there was no digital, and you had to run to answer the phone. I mean, it was a chore to see who was going to answer the phone depending on what room you were in. Yeah, okay. Pong was the first computer game. Pong. That was state-of-the-art, cutting, leading edge, man. Pong. If you had Pong, you were the shit. Yeah. Because it was new. It was new technology. It was new. Okay. I mean, the first computer, a Commodore 64. That means it had a clock speed of 64. You know how slow that son of a bitch was? We didn't know how to use it. We had to learn how to use it. And at that point, came out, and I think it was 186, 184. When we got to 486, 486 is as fast as the eye can see. That's it. So as fast as what we're doing now, we could do it 486. It just kind of lagged, buffered, and did all this other stuff. And it was about the time the internet came on. Okay, you had to wait an hour to download anything. So anything that's happened since then has happened all inside. Well, yeah, people come out of the wombs with a phone in their hands, man. Because you're part of this age, you're part of what's going on. The first computer I built, I know I'm getting off track and I've gone long on this and whatever. The first computer I built, personally built, state-of-the-art, cutting edge, fast as it can go, all of the whatever it could, cost me like $4,500 or $5,500. There was no Newegg, there was no Best Buy, you had to go down to the electronics shop, Sparky's or Jethro's or whoever. You had to go to the electronics shop. You had to know the parts you wanted, and you had to order the parts. Had to wait for the parts to come in because there was no overnight shipping or free shipping. It all came snail mail. And if they didn't have the parts in stock, you had to wait. So when I ordered my parts, and I know I'm getting off, but this is this is what I'm talking about. What between now, when I ordered my parts, it took me probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to track down all of the stuff I want, all of the cutting edge, state of the art stuff, and I was willing to pay the money for it. $4,500, $500. Tape backup drives and 3.5 floppies and whatever. That was cutting edge. People see a 3.5 floppy and they go, no, and they laugh at it. Okay, because the amount. A hard drive was a joke. Today, it was a joke. It was, I don't know. We were still in, I don't think we even hit gigabytes yet. I think we were still in megabytes. We were just getting to the edge of, getting to the point of gigabyte. Yeah. because it was new. But that was cutting edge, state of the art. It took me about a week and a half to figure out what I want to do, and all sorts of counting, monitor on. Ordered all my parts. Took about a week and a half, 2 weeks for them to all come in. I didn't go down until they were all came in. Took me about 2 weeks. I'm gonna say 2 weeks for all my parts to come in from all over wherever they were coming from. Some came from China, some came from Japan, some came from over here, they came from all over the world. I mean, some in the United States, they came from all over the world. Snail mail. Yeah, about 2 weeks, and that was good, because stuff coming out of China and overseas and all that, Asia and all that, shit, some of it could take months, and if they were backordered, it could take longer than that. Yeah. So if you weren't there, you don't know. So I got all my parts in about 2 weeks. Yeah, it was about a week and a half, 2 weeks, which was good. Went and picked them up, got them home, got all my, had to pay for all my software and all that other stuff. You had to pay for the program you were putting in, unless you knew somebody that could hack shit. Anyway, but you had to pay for all the programs you wanted to download. It wasn't until they got way up, started to get way up there that they came preloaded and did this and did that and upgraded this and okay. So I got my Windows and I got all this and I got the Excel and all that. And yeah. It was my program. Yeah, it was $55. With the programs that I got, it was like $5,500. Writing in DOS. Windows was just coming out. Writing in DOS. Got my shit home. Before I could get it together, and it only took me like a day or a day and a half to get it together, to get it up, get it running, and being able to use it. Did we have internet then? Yeah, we had internet. It was just, internet was just coming in. Internet was just coming in, so yeah. Got it all together, got it all hooked up, got it whatever it is. By the time I got it together, my computer was outdated. The processor was too slow and the hard drive was too small. And that's when programs started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you would run out of, you had to run 3, 4 or 5 hard drives to keep up with the way the size of the programs were going. Yeah. By the time I got it all hooked up, and I probably didn't even download my first deal off the internet, and my computer was out of date. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You didn't know there were no, cell phones were just coming into play. The first cell phone was a brick. It was in a suitcase that looked like a brick. That was the first cell phone. And to get service, you could only get service here, there, what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what these guys. If you weren't there, you don't know. Pi's not there yet, but with where it is today, that was Bitcoin. That was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was that first. Bitcoin is that Commodore 64. And it was the latest and greatest. Everybody nodding. Everybody wanted one. That's when home computers took off. Everybody wanted one. When they got to there was one. Then because it doubled, it was like 164. Then it was 286. Something. However the binary goes. And the 286 is when the home computer trays started to take off. Because the first computers were $6,000-$7,000, man. For what that was. You know what you can buy a computer you can buy for $6,000-$7,000 now? Yeah. Yeah, you can probably get into money. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Where we're at, where we came from. Well, if Bitcoin is starting out at that level, Pi's just the next step, man. Pi's just the next step. That's all. There will be coins coming up behind Pi that will be above Pi. There will be the next generation above Pi. Will be better, most likely be better. They have more bells and whistles and dings and dongs and whatever is going on. Okay, it's just evolution. It's the way the world works. Okay, but Pi will still be a player. No matter what comes up behind Pi, Pi will still be a player in what it is because it's looking to be a parallel currency. Another alternative as a form of payment to buy goods and services. That's what it's about. If the dollar crashes, if the dollar totally goes to, everything else goes with it for a while. Everything else goes with it for a while. Even Bitcoin. Yes. It's the widest distributed network there is. But if you look at where it's, It's not in 236 countries. And now they're changing because big bank is getting involved, governments are getting involved. The energy consumption around Bitcoin is changing. It's all becoming green. It's all becoming. They're going solar. And they're going. Okay, because big investment is getting involved. Because big investment knows they can't beat it. They know they can't beat cryptocurrency, but they want to get in and control it. Bottom line, they want to get in and control it, and they are getting in and controlling it. Count on it. Bet on it. All of the way things sit right now, and all these Bitcoin whales that can manipulate and learn how to play the game, I hope they've learned to play it real well. Talk to me in 10 years. Talk to me in 10 years. And tell me how many of these whales, Bitcoin whales today, still have their Bitcoin 10, 15 years from now. Because they're already talking about interest. When they start talking about interest, we have no chance. We have no chance. Be long, be slow, be whatever. But when they're, because what they're counting their profits and their margins and their whatever on is on the interest we're paying them. It means we're giving our money to them. We have. Since the 70s, we have. And the gap between the thems, the almost them, there's a gap between. The gap between those two is what the rich and the middle class were back in the 60s. They just moved that whole scale up. Us that were middle class or lower end middle class in the 60s, top of the poverty line. Anybody who was at the poverty line before that. And this is going up there. Yeah. And we're freely giving it to them. That's what I say. I know I keep beating this, and I don't know how to, and this is what I get. I don't know how to get you to see. I don't know how to get you to understand. Don't know. The biggest thing I can say, and I'm going to shut this up because I went way over now. So I'll be talking about my own shit. I lost it. Sorry, folks. I'm gonna end this one because I'm way over. And I know, but it's putting things in the perspective, the right context, the right. Okay. Oh, the biggest thing I can say, or try to get you to hear me just a little bit, is step back, close your eyes, take the glasses off, wipe the filters out, take a deep breath, grab a big gulp of your favorite, whatever you're drinking. Take a deep breath. Clear your head. Open your eyes. And only see pi. Only see pi. Look at pi, break pi down, and see pi, investigate pi, do whatever from pi's position. You don't let any of that, don't let any of that in. And you don't have to keep it out forever. Just for that short time. See pi. Look at pi for pi. Look at pi for what pi has to offer. Look what pi is doing. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. We're getting close enough to launch that you could probably let that go in, okay? But as soon as you do, you start leaning this way. You need to stop leaning this way for just a little bit. See pi for pi. When you can see pi for pi, you can see how pi can fit without buying. Pi doesn't have to buy into their stuff. It doesn't. Because the way pi is written, how it's distributed, how big it is, whatever, community governance is going to be, community governance is what's going to push pi to the outside. To be able for pi to operate on the outside. Because right now what these big investors are going after, to control the crypto space and to pull the crypto space into their deal, is interest. And as soon as I can't drive this home, man. As soon as we start paying interest on crypto borrowed, one, you're defeating crypto. Crypto's a cash system, man. If you don't have it, you can't buy it. And if you have to borrow to buy it, then you're getting away from crypto. You're getting away from crypto, man. That isn't what crypto wasn't designed to borrow. Crypto was designed to buy, to be anonymous. Bitcoin was designed to be anonymous. It's digital. The anonymity and all that other stuff goes out the window. Yes. Now, we do have a bit of anonymity because the only way we're identified on the blockchain is our username. For a lot of us, if they want, man, if they want me, they can find me. When I joined Pi, up until I joined Pi, they couldn't find me. If you didn't know me personally, you could not find me online. I was not online. It wasn't. Yeah, I had an email, but I hadn't used it in a long time. That was the only thing I had. I was off the grid. I mean, I was 95% off the grid. Yes, there were ways that you couldn't find me. That's anonymity. I didn't deal with credit. There was no credit card. I didn't have no credit cards. I didn't have no credit. I have no credit. You run a credit check on me right now, I couldn't even buy a drink of water and whatever, man. Yeah. I have no credit. Don't want no credit. I didn't even have a cell phone in my own name. I still don't have a cell phone in my own name. Okay? That's anonymity. And if you're dealing with any kind of credit card or any kind of credit or if you're not dealing in straight up cash, you can be found. Your privacy is minimal. If you have a house payment or a PG&E payment or a car payment or insurance payment, you can be found. Your privacy is a no. Okay? That's what they want to control. That's what they control now. That's what they control. You think you're private now? Central bank holds every record there is on everybody that banks. If you do any business through a bank, any business, because you can't go into a bank and give a false name or whatever and open an account and do business. No, you can't. They don't do it. It doesn't happen. And they don't hide it. Your name, your account is in central bank. That's how all of these internet companies and all those others. Okay, so it's an issue. It's whatever, and if I also know whatever it is. Yes, Pi. Read the privacy policy. Read the terms of use, terms and conditions. Read it. Core is about protecting our privacy. Bottom line, because they want to be as private as we are. Yeah. Man, like I say, look at Pi. Because what they've written in the Pi, they've written Pi for us. They've written Pi for us. Stable, evenly distributed, random, whatever. All right, when I get like this, I get a lot of thoughts going on, and whatever, and I can just get talking. But there's a lot of information I get going on in my head, and I know I should break it up, but I'm still learning. So, all right. Y'all have a good one. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Later.